Welcome to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Nikki C. Super excited to bring another amazing guest that I just met about a week ago, and we have just had a great conversation, and I knew I had to have her story on here. But before we get her on here, we are going to say hello to our sponsors and thank you so much for your constant support. And that goes out to Carolyn Bob Green with Training You to Succeed as our lead sponsor. We have Julian Noah with Breathe Capital Planning. We have Top Fox, who is the official sponsor of our Taking Off the Shades book anthology that we have coming out in just a couple of days. I am super excited again for all of it. Super blessed. I hope that you grab your pen and your paper and you really tune into this new episode that we have for you today. So without further ado, let me introduce to you my guest. She is Michelle Sinclair Doyley, and she is a Purpose to Prosperity coach consultant, which I absolutely love. She has a unique blend of faith, financial expertise, and a transformational teaching. But her story didn't start with joy. It started with success that left her empty. For 10 years, Michelle hated her job, despite coping top awards to pressure, misalignment, and daily dread slowly chipped away at her well-being. It wasn't until her body and spirit began to break down that she faced the truth. She was not walking in her God-given purpose. However, once she identified her God-given purpose, she went on to create a career she loved, one that didn't just pay the bills, but lit her soul on fire. In her purpose-led career, she wrote her own purpose-led job description, leading to 3 promotions. Today, Michelle is on a mission to help others to identify their God-given purpose and launch into careers and businesses that they will love to. Do you want to know your purpose? 95% of her clients have identified their purpose in just one session. Do you need to uplevel your finances? Her financial goal planning sessions have 5-star reviews. Michelle doesn't just coach, she equips you to create the career, business, and financial life you'll love. I am super excited to bring her on. And there she goes, Michelle Sinclair. How are you, love?
I am doing fantastically well, Nikki, and hi to everybody who is viewing us today.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I believe that we were connected through the famous Jose Escobar,
Yes.
who is one of my mentors and coaches, who has also been a lead sponsor to Building a Leadership Mindset. And we're connected through the Connected Leaders Academy. We had one conversation last week after your interest on some things that you're doing. And after a great conversation and finding so many commonalities to our story, I was like, we need to bring this story on here. So let's go back, Michelle, and talk about that job that you weren't living in your purpose. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I was in the financial sector and I love finance, right? I still do financial coaching and all of that. I love finance now. But it was a job where I was doing individual client advisory. It had a lot of administrative work. I didn't like the administrative part of things. And I always just felt as though I was always on a hamster wheel going like this,
Mm-hmm.
never able to slow down, never able to breathe. And it it was just not for me. The first day, So this is an orientation that I'm reading the job description. It's a whole other interview as to how I reach to the point where I'm in orientation and seeing the job description for the first time. Okay. Because most people understand the job before they even apply for the role. That's a whole story by itself. But on the first day when I read this job description, I said to myself, but I'm not cut out for this. And I remember saying to the person who interviewed me, I mean, did you read my disc? This job, right? So for the persons who are not familiar with this, because DISC, which is a psychometric evaluation that tells you about who you are, your personality type, your communication style, etc. And she said, yes, Michelle, I saw all of that. So let's say from day one, right? I realized. But then as I got more and more into it, it's not that I couldn't do it and do it well. I did it excellently. But I just was not fulfilled. So when I'm doing one of my boot camps with my clients, I normally take persons through this continuum, which is called your zones, right? So there's a zone of incompetence, the zone of competence, the zone of excellence, and the zone of genius. And I was operating in my zone of competence. So there were certain things that I did pretty well, but did it light me up? No. Your zone of genius will light you up,
Yeah.
right? And that was not happening for me. And I was feeling drained every day to the point where when I stepped in, I would sit in my office, and for the first 20 minutes, I would just sit there. Do I have to do this again today? How do I start this work again today? Okay, what am I going to do? And so that's how it was. I did it well, I did it excellently, but I never liked what I was doing and I didn't feel fulfilled. And just to help you to recognize how things can creep on us, I knew I was tired, I knew I was frustrated, but I didn't recognize how close I was to having a real health scare until I was out of that job for a couple of months. And then somebody called me asking me to do something related to that job for just one day. And I felt, because it's with the same company, right? Great company. And I felt the tension in my body start from my toes. My toes. And then I felt when it started creeping up my legs, my knees, my thighs. I felt when it reached into the lower part of my back. I felt when it climbed all the way up to my shoulders. I felt when it went into my chest. And at that point, I could not breathe.
Mm.
And I had to say, I'm sorry, I can't. Now, here's what happened. Because I was in the job for so long, it was happening, but it was such a slow creep at that time that I didn't recognize as how I was feeling every day. Because after a while, it becomes so acclimatized. But being out of it and then being put right back into it just for one day to help out, the creep wasn't slow, it was fast. And that's when I realized, oh my goodness, this is danger zone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is so powerful. And I really want the audience to like rewatch this on replay. Like just the way you described it, it's so true. I know someone in the job that I worked for 14 years that again we can relate to. I love what I did, who I worked with, but at some point it was like, is this really my calling? Is this really my purpose? Like I had all these ideas going on and I'm creating authorizations when I wanted to build out a program and all those things. And it just started being like, and let me tell you, I love to show up to work. I didn't take a day off. I used to cash in my PTO. But I knew others that went on this journey that were there longer than I have, that entered retirement. One specific beautiful soul that was there before me. I had a pleasure of knowing her. And right after retirement, not 1 week later, with not an inch of illness in her life, she passed away. She did not get to enjoy retirement and the 20 plus years that she put into an organization that really took away some of those health things. And when you say that, I'm like, oh my God, this is real. It doesn't just happen to one, it happens to many. And what I want the listeners to know, are you feeling that right now? If
Mm-hmm.
you're feeling that, Michelle just told you that's a danger zone. You have to be aware, you have to pay attention and really see what's happening to your health. And I love that you said that whatever you're building, you have to have joy. You have to want to do
Mm-hmm.
it. You have to love to do it. Like, you know, to feel something from your feet, from head to toe, from your toe to your head, you know, that is a huge sign of we need to make some shifts here. So tell me how that transition was when you finally decided, before even that request to come back and just help out for a day. Let's just go back to the departure. What did that?
Okay, so the departure. The departure happened because one day I realized I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't. Now, I want you to understand that for every year that I was in that job, I would speak to the HR department and say, I don't know, I just can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. Right? And every time there'd be a new job advertised, I'd reach to a point where I would call a particular person in our HR department and she would answer the phone. And this was the answer: Hello, Michelle. This job is not for you. Have a wonderful day.
We already did.
Right? I knew what I didn't want. I didn't know what I wanted. And so I was trying to scratch around for anything. There were certain things I knew I didn't want. So I knew I didn't want to be promoted to be the branch manager. That I knew. But the other things, I was no scratching around for anything. And on one particular day, I called the one of the then heads of the company and I said, I can't do this anymore. And she said, Is it your boss? No. Is it the clients? No. Is it this? Is it that? No. What is it? I said, It's me. I said, It is me. I'm not cut out for this. I cannot do this. And so she invited me to have a conversation with her. And the long story short is that she had had a document where I had written down my whole life plan. I won't tell you how she got it, but let's just say, when she was saying, Michelle, I have this document, I was in shock. And um, she said, I see that you want to do financial education. Do you want to do it? And I went, maybe. She said, do you want to do it? And I finally said yes. So then she gave me the opportunity of a lifetime. And she said, okay, write your job description and let's do this. Now, that was a vision that the Lord had given me years before. And now that I got the opportunity, all kinds of thoughts started to flow into my mind. Michelle, can you do this thing? Does it make sense? Nobody does this. What are you going to do? This doesn't make sense. How can you make money for the company? Oh my goodness, you're not qualified in any manner, shape, or form. And I took those negative thoughts and started now to share with somebody else about this dream. And she thought it was laughable and she started laughing. She laughed so hard that persons heard her and said, Hey, what's going on? And so they came into my office and she's explaining, I'm explaining, everybody's laughing, I'm laughing. We're now on the floor laughing at how stupid this vision that God had given me was. Because I didn't think I was capable. Imposter syndrome. So fast forward. I now start to dodge. This wonderful person is giving me this fabulous opportunity because I'm scared. Why am I scared? And I'm saying this to you because when I say you, I'm talking to you listening to us. The vision that God gives you is going to be too big for you to do it on your own. So of course you can't do it. You cannot do it on your own. You're going to need to rely on Him. It's going to require faith. And it may not make sense. There are lots of things that he did that did not make sense. Peter, come out of the, yes, Peter, yes, come out of the boat. That didn't make sense either. Okay. So I'm no dodging her. I'm not writing this thing because I am, I'm leaning on my own understanding. I'm not acknowledging God. I'm not allowing him to direct my path. And finally, she backed me up in a corner one day. And she said, "Where is this thing?" And so I know how to produce it. For persons who come into my program, I'll tell you about the stupidness that I did that includes a desk. Right? I won't tell it here. You've got to come into that because that's a whole drama unto itself. That story is a story. But then I finally went into that area. And I still went in with all the doubts and all the fears and all the everything. And I remember the first time I did something in the way in which God told me to do it, right? You may recognize I'm a dramatic person. And here am I, and I'm talking about finances. And rather than being ultra professional, as most financial professionals are when they're speaking, I'm laughing, I'm giving jokes, I'm dancing, I'm talking about finance, and I'm talking about a plate of food, and I'm now showing you how um, I'm Jamaican, right? So so I'm comparing one particular financial instrument with white rice, and I'm comparing something else with the vegetables, and something else with the curried goat, and something else with whatever, and I'm showing them how the various um, food groups relate to the various financial assets and helping people to understand like that. I'm making up jingles and they're singing along and all of that kind of excitement. That was not how financial professionals, certainly not back then, that's not how we would make presentations. And so it was also seen as inappropriate by many people. But the audience loved it and they got it and they invested money and they finally understood. And that lit me up. And so when all the naysaying and stuff was happening, that helped me. I'm going to tell you one other thing that happened. There's one day that I was very badly criticized. And it was a meeting with the senior people. And the long and the short of the story is that they were saying, your style is terrible. It's not working. We are totally in shock that this is what you're doing. And I remember feeling as though a truck had run over me, a garbage truck had run over me and run over me several times until I was flat and then scooped me up, put me in the back. And then, when you have that device at the back that goes like that, that's how I felt coming out of that meeting. But let me tell you about the Lord that we serve. And this is for somebody who the Lord has told you a particular way to do something and you're wondering. I came out of that meeting deflated, figuring I need to change how I do things. And I got a call from one of our television stations for the most popular television program, and they wanted me to come on. Coming out of that meeting, I have no confidence. So I said, I'm so sorry. Let me find someone else for you. And they said, no, we want you. And I said, well, I'm not even available. I'm going to be on leave. And what you want me to speak about is very topical. So let me put you on to someone else. And they said, no, we'll wait until you come back. I said, the story will be old. They'll say, we'll find a new story for you, Michelle. Coming out of that meeting, I'm like, why would you? And they said, because we love you. Every time you come on, everybody, we get so many calls and messages from our viewers and stuff. We love the way in which you do things. I went on leave. They called me 3 weeks later. Are you ready now? I go, my goodness. So I'm saying this to you because the Lord is an on time God. He knows he could have made that call come in 2 weeks before. He could have made that call come in 2 weeks after. He made that call come in at the time when I was feeling so low and worthless. And every bit of imposter syndrome that I had was kicking in that moment. And that is at the moment when he said, "Come, darling, come, sweetheart." And so I want you to know that he will confirm what he has told you to do and how he has told you to do it. So that's my leaving. A long story of leaving, right? But
Wow. It is all good. I think we definitely needed to hear every single moment, every single experience. I did have the pleasure of hearing that death story. So definitely connect with Michelle so that you can get the inside scoop on that, because that was crucial. That was a turning point. That was a place that we probably never want to go to, but we kind of put ourselves there for all the wrong reasons. And because when we're faithful and we serve a God and he's on time, his time, of course, blessings and abundance will come. You just have to open your heart for it and believe that you are worthy of every single thing. And I'm glad that you were able to find that on your journey, throughout your journey. And I believe that you always knew. I truly believe that you always knew, but sometimes that inner critic that we have, I call her, "Hey girl," sometimes I got to kick her out. I got to slam the door in her face and say she doesn't belong, because I serve a God that knows what my path looks like. So on that note, thank you so much, Michelle, for that. We're going to take a quick break. We are going to show you what we are bringing to our Empower to Inspire tour. And here are just a couple clips of these amazing journeys that we have created in our live event spaces. Here you go.
I am here at Mummers Museum in Philadelphia celebrating BALM Global's second anniversary celebration. The women who showed up today are leading in their respective industries, and they're ready to not only get inspired, but empower and inspire you.
So from all of the speakers, I have gotten something out of it, not to be stuck and to move forward.
And this just encouraged me to start up again, to take that 15 minutes a day and to make sure that I restart that podcast, that I start writing those chapters for that book, that I get out there and I do what is inside of me, because there's somebody else waiting for me.
I have been a member of Leaders of Leadership for about a year now, and it's been my pleasure to be attending here in the 2-year anniversary with BALM Global, having this amazing group of women and community all together, empowering, inspiring, uplifting. It's been such an amazing experience being here with all this powerhouse. It's just so beautiful, and I'm so blessed that I was part of this group. Together, we empower each other. Thank you.
It's like it's gonna be on fire. I want everybody to just sign up, and go to that. Wow, Nikki. Wow, Nikki.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, we are going to be in Vegas from through the October 3rd through the 5th for our Empower to Inspire. And we are about to celebrate our 3-year anniversary of Ladies of Leadership, November 1st. We are going to New York and we're launching the next anthology, Me versus Me. So anything BALM Global, definitely tune in and connect with us. But this is not my show. Today is all about Michelle Sinclair, and she has been dropping just golden nuggets on imposter syndrome, that when opportunities arise, we are running from it when we should be stepping in to our purpose. So talk to us a little bit about your journey, your program. Tell us a little bit why Purpose to Prosperity. How did that name come about? Because I believe everything has a purpose, and I love to know the backstories of when people create a space for impact. So please share, what is Purpose to Prosperity?
So after I had that job that I hated, I went into a career. I created using my purpose. I finally identified what my purpose was, and I went into a career that I loved in the same organization, right? And I recognized I felt so different. Now people say, Michelle, you're always happy. Before I wasn't. Then I was always sick. Now I was well, And I recognize just what a significant impact it has on people when they're not operating in purpose. And also because God wants us to operate in a purpose for which He had created us, I believe that everybody should be operating in their purpose. So in my business, I help people to identify their purpose. But then people are always scared. Can purpose pay the bills? Am I going to go into poverty? So I want to show you, no, you can go into prosperity. God will give you the provision for the purpose that He has placed in your heart. He will give you the prosperity that is required for that. And so, purpose to prosperity, you start here with purpose, you continue through with purpose, and it allows you to over here have prosperity. But if one person says, oh, it's possible, then you say, well, it's that one person. But when you have experts and you have several people coming to you one after the other saying, hey, I did it, this is how I did it, then you recognize, wait, it is actually possible. But then because they're telling you the how, then you're also going to be fast tracked to achieving it. So I'll give you an idea of just what I'm talking about in fast tracking. So with my own purpose, I would say I actively started trying to identify what it was for 5 years. And then one day, after going to lots of courses, wasting my money on them, the Lord downloaded to me a formula. And I used that formula. I went, oh, that's it. So 5 years, now in one session with me, people have it. That's fast tracking. All right. We have experts who have started over from scratch. And when they tell you what to do, how to market yourself, how to position yourself so that you have job offers in the career that is aligned with your purpose, or how you can build a business in the same area of your purpose, you don't have to take several years to go sort out this whole thing. So therefore, Purpose to Prosperity is a community that you come into where I'm going to be asking all the questions that I wished I could have asked back then. I'm going to be asking the experts on your behalf. And you're going to sit down and you're going to listen and say, oh, yes, I wanted that question answered. Oh, yes, now I know what to do. And because of that, you're going to be fast tracked. And you're going to come out of the sessions with each one causing you to make a slight tweak in how you're thinking. But more importantly, how you're thinking about yourself, how you're thinking about what is possible with God. And then at the end of it, we're not going to just leave you. It's a community. And it's especially a great community for persons who love Jesus, because we are going to be talking Bible and showing how the Bible will help you with your finances, job offers, how to sell. All of that is in the Bible. Really? Yes, it is. But we're not leaving you there. Afterwards, we're going to invite you to come into a mastermind with us so that we can now dig deeper with you so that you come out transformed. So I love to say it's not about information. You're not coming to do anything, you're just taking notes and taking notes. No, it's about transformation. And anything that I do, I tell people you're not coming here to take notes. You are coming here to leave different than how you came in here. If you're leaving
Mhm.
different, then I would not have done my job. And I'm very serious about doing my job.
Yes, that also actually takes me to a topic because I also have a community, right? And last night we were speaking about that. Like, how do you leverage
Mhm.
um, entering these spaces, right? We haven't been on the Connected Leaders Academy together at the same time. We just know that we're a part of it. But when I first started with the Connected Leader Academy, that was the inspiration to build Ladies of Leadership and create a sisterhood where, and I just did a post about it last night, where it wasn't built for you to sit on the sidelines. It was built for you to go full out. And when you say transformation, that's what it's about. It's not just the information, taking the notes. If we are not putting those things into action, remember, every coach has been through those imposter syndromes.
Mhm.
My journey, I would say, was about 22 plus years. And that's even with 21 years ago, me being my aunt had flew me out to Vegas, which is our 21-year anniversary this October. So everything is falling into place. God
Oh,
ordained this, and I didn't even know 21 years ago that 21 years later I will be able to share when I jumped into that faith and say, hey, he has put me here for a reason. I don't know what it's going to look like. And helping her launch her business 21 years ago. I mean, it was already launched. She was established, but she didn't know the business side of it, right? The credit card machine, the filing, the systems that you need to put in place to manage everything. Um, so this is what we're talking about. We're talking about when we have that idea, that desire that we have to do something more in life because that's what God called us to do, is to take action and to connect with individuals like Michelle that has purpose to prosperity, that has the tools that you are looking for to transform. No, we cannot do this alone. We were not meant to do this alone. The dream is so big, you need a team, and it takes financial advisors, it takes coaches, it takes mentors, it takes someone, like, especially if you are not technically savvy, it takes someone that's in the IT field that needs to be part of your team. It's that person that's going to answer your emails. It's a whole bigger picture.
mhm.
If you need to lay down the foundation, this is what this podcast was built on. It literally, I built it 5 years ago, 2020, February. It sat for 2 years and it collected dust with like no purpose, but it was a seed. So I never let it go. God just told me to to create it, put it to the side, and I'm going to bring the people. And we're about to hit 200 interviews since we
Woo!
launched it. So you'll be back here in a month or two where we'll be celebrating you again, Michelle. This is what purpose to prosperity is. When you walk into it, there's no way anyone can stop you as long as you continue to go with the faith and let him hold your hand and lead the way. Michelle, I love your story. Your story is absolutely amazing. Can you give us just a few things that you get with your clients when you're onboarding? What are like the top three struggles people are facing before they even decide, okay, I'm going to figure out what my purpose is? Can you let us know what those three challenges are?
They're facing burnout. They are they are frustrated in their jobs. They're not enjoying going to work, so they're thinking, "Do I have to go to work again today?" Many of them are also having challenges in their relationships because we spend so much time working that it's either your family saying that you don't have enough time for them, and or because of how you're feeling on the job, you take that with you home. And so you're not engaging, you are miserable, you are frustrated, and we take that into our families. So with our spouses, we're antsy. With our children, we're antsy. With all the people who are around us, we're antsy. They are normally experiencing a dissatisfaction with where life has taken them. Despite having the house and the car and a job title that suits the world and looks great, there's normally an internal dissatisfaction that cannot be shaken. And they're wondering, wow, what's next? Why am I here? Is there a reason for me to be here? Yeah, I think there's a reason that I'm here, but what is that reason? That's what they're facing when they normally come to me. And then can I tell you what they're scared of? When I say come, let's
Absolutely. That
work
was
towards
my
it.
next
Let me tell you what they're scared of now.
Come on, let's bring it.
Let me say, so Michelle, you're gonna do all of that with me in 3 days? Like I'm gonna know my zone of genius, I'm gonna know my purpose in life, I'm gonna know my ideal career in 3 days. 3 sessions. Yep. That sounds impossible. And then I'll say, and if I don't do it for you, you get all your money back. There's no risk here. And what normally happens is that on day 2, somebody starts crying, I know my purpose. Oh my goodness, Michelle, we really did it. Oh my goodness. And on day 3, they're like, so why did this take me so long all along? Like, how many years have I been trying to figure this out? We did this in 1, 2, 3 sessions. Like, really? If I had only done this a long time ago, I would not have spent so much money on that course to get that additional qualification because it's leading me in the wrong place. If I'd only done 3 days with you, I would have known not to apply for that job. If I had only done this 3 days with you before, my life would have been so much better. So long ago. Michelle, where were you all along? So that's what normally happens at the end of day 3.
I love that. That is the best compliment a coach and a mentor can get, is when they really see the transformation happening before their eyes. And that's what we live for. That's what we thrive for. Once we get that formula, right? And once, these people that are creating these businesses and all these things, once they get the formula, then they can pay that forward and it becomes a ripple effect, which is how you impact with purpose in every encounter that you have with someone new. Trust me, you do not have to be salesy. Salesy is another thing. Like, I don't know how to ask people for money. I know I have this great formula. How can I tell people to pay me? How can I show them the vision? And we get stuck there and we don't do anything at all, which is the biggest thing that we can do. And we actually had a session called the 7 deadly sins, right? We know them: envy, greed, all those things. But there was one particular one that really stood out in our community, and that was sloth. And that is sloth. And that is when you are not living in your purpose, when you are just taking up space, you have this gift that God has calling you to do, and you are not giving it to the world. Yes, it was so impactful that one of the ladies felt convicted and she had to jump off of our call and felt guilty. And I didn't want that to be that, but I wanted people to understand that our purpose is meaningful. And we cannot hold it back from the world. The only thing that we have is the evidence that God did it for us and he can do it for you too. No matter how long it takes. I don't care if it takes 3 days or 3 years or 300 years. As long as we continue to walk that line in our purpose, we're good. We are good. And we have to find that. And you have amazing women from Jamaica, Michelle Sinclair, here telling you that.
I want to make sure that my last name is added onto it because my husband is going to watch this thing.
Michelle Sinclair Doyley. There you go, husband. He is such a lucky man for sure. And I am just glad again that we connected, that we were able to bring your story here to the BALM Global family and to the world, because I think we need to continue to hear it. We probably hear it. We probably think we hear it too much, but are we paying attention? Are we listening? Are we ready to move? How can people get a hold of you, Michelle?
So you'll see it at the bottom of the screen, right? So there are two ways. So in terms of Purpose to Prosperity, listening to that whole interview series, it's available, it's online, jump in, it's there, right? At the time when you're watching it, it may be at a time when there is a small small investment attached to it, but it is so worth it. Okay, this is thousands and thousands of US dollars worth of gifts and transformational messages that's right in there from world leading experts. Okay, so that's the Purpose to Prosperity. But then there's also my website where you can just meet me, understand who I am, because a lot of times people want to meet you and understand who you are before, right? And that is MichelleSinclairDoyley.com. Easily, that's my name, MichelleSinclairDoyley.com.
I love it, Michelle. Thank you so much. Definitely connect with her. I know she's doing an amazing thing that she has started in August. It's almost ready to wrap up. I would love for you to share just a bit of that and then close us out with whatever you want to leave with our audience that's on your heart right now.
Okay. So it's the same Purpose to Prosperity Summit where you are going to come in, you get information, inspiration, practical tips, right, for application, and you leave with transformation. So if you're sick and tired of going to another thing where they're just talking about things to inspire you, you're going to come for the practical application and the transformation. But if you're somebody who you are at that point where you're saying, okay, I'm a professional, I'm doing well, but I do need to even just believe that it is possible, then the inspiration is also gonna be very useful for you. And you may even say, sometimes we underestimate how important it is. We say, I don't need any inspiration. But when you are right at that juncture, when you're trying to do something big, something different, you're making a bold move, you need it more than you think you do. Right? So information, inspiration, application, transformation, right? And I can tell you that, yes, I did the interviews with all of the experts, and I can say that I've been transformed by this entire process, right? So I cannot even begin to explain what you are going to go through. Very quickly, there was a particular thing that one of the speakers said about connecting with people. He's another CLA person, you know. It's Scott Schilling. And I was having a particular situation in my life. And the day of doing that interview with Scott, I applied what he said to my situation. Would you believe immediately? It was resolved. There was another speaker who was talking about how to de-escalate conflict, whether it's at home, in the workplace, etc. I apply what he said immediately. I'm like, oh my goodness. So when I'm talking about the fact that what they're saying you can apply, I mean, apply it and see your life transform. Now, what do I want to leave and say to you who are listening to us? The Word of God says that Jesus looked up to heaven and said, I brought glory to you here on earth by completing the work that you sent me to do. And he was talking to God the Father. And each one of us is sent here to complete something. What are you called to complete? You don't make anything at all without thinking about why you're making it. If you're going to make food, you're going to say, okay, I want a quick pick-me-upper, or I want a balanced meal, or you have thought about the purpose of the meal before you create the meal. The purpose of the building that you're in was thought about and went into the design of the building. There's nothing that is made without purpose. So why would you even hazard the thought that you could have been made without purpose? That does not compute.
I I just got chills. Keep going.
So when you know what your purpose is, your life is going to be different. It is going to transform. John Maxwell quotes somebody, I don't know who he quotes, so I'm talking about John quoting the person, and he says there are two most important days in a person's life: the day when they were born and the day when they know why. I want to add another day,
Mm-hmm.
the day when you start walking in it.
Yes.
And who you are becomes different. And I want you to get a picture of yourself. Get a picture where you look at yourself and you go, And then I want you to ask the Lord, who did you create this person to be? Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. Who did he, the creator, create you, the creator, to be? You can't ask yourself. You got to ask him. I'm here to help you to do just that.
Thank you so much, Michelle. This has been inspirational. This has been empowering. We will be applying and we're looking for transformation. But I love that day 3, the day you walk in it. That's beautiful. That's powerful. I might steal that. I'll let you know. Definitely will give you 100,000% credit for that one. But that was huge. Thank you all for listening to another powerful episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. Again, take these videos, these whatever you want to call them, this inspiration, and apply them. People are waiting for you. They have been praying for you to show up in their lives. So I thank you again, Michelle Sinclair Doyley. It has been an absolute pleasure. We will definitely stay connected. Everyone, farewell for today. We'll see you next time. But as I always say, make every moment count. Have a great one.